Have you ever loved something that doesn't love you back? One More Year, the ultimate graphic novel, now available on Amazon.
Welcome to the beach, folks. The World Beach Ultimate Club Championships 2024. And we have had a weather delay going on for our round after our streaming break. The women's division, Cassalletes, the Valencia side against Salaspils of Latvia. Oh, and we've just got some live information. So Cassalletes were not aware of the recommencing of this round. So they are currently sprinting their way to the pitches. So they had a full warm-up, both of these teams. Myself, Hannah Pendlebury on the call alongside the inimitable Jamie Rabbits, ready to give us some analysis as we watch this well, we expect Jamie to be a rather hairy, scary game because of the wind conditions.
Yeah, when we were doing our initial setup, the winds were reaching those apocalyptic levels. It seems to have calmed down a little bit out there, but still very much an upwind, downwind field. We'll have to see how these teams handle it. We did manage to speak to the leadership of both teams. Both of them saying, you know, not scared to try and take on those shots. And Salaspils saying the game plan changes every 10 minutes depending on how it's going. So going to try and adapt to the conditions, make it work for them, but should hopefully have a good game on our hands, assuming Cassalletes can get the full roster here and ready to go.
Yes, I mean, there are rules for this exact situation when you're in this kind of an affair where the team doesn't turn up. I believe at beach, it's still sort of that initial 5-minute grace period, and then because you have to have a minimum number of people on the line. In fact, I know a particular club team based in the USA who are called Liquor and Cleats, although on sand their iteration is Liquor and Feets, because at Trouble in Vegas many moons ago, their team, half of them basically were on the pitch when the game started, about half of the roster in total, and it was a very small roster because the other half of the team were busy. They didn't read the schedule properly. Half of them were buying cleats at the local athletic store because it was known for its discounts, and the other one were buying some alcoholic refreshing beverages. But this time, Cassalletes turning up a little bit late. I do think they're having a chat with the leaderships. Of course, Helena Orlovskas, the sister of a certain famous Latvian Open player, is the captain of the Salaspils women's outfit alongside coach Yanis Bernards, who's playing for Salaspils Wild Things and ran his way over to this pitch, so he'll certainly know exactly what these wind conditions are like. And on the side of things for Cassalletes, of course, Linda Broccoli was giving us the full 1-1 before the game, but one of their leading presences, Maria Heziod, will not be taking to the sands this afternoon. She was a big part of their EBUCC campaign 2 seasons ago. Here in Portimão, they celebrated a big win in the finals.
Yes, she's out with the wrist, broken wrist, I think it was, recovering, so will be on the sideline.
Well, we have an update. Indeed, Cassalletes are going to be a little while longer. So the time, I think, in this game is officially running. There may have been a discussion just kind of giving that extra grace because of the lightning delay. But we will take a break in the booth, folks, until the Valencia side takes to the sands here in our ULTI.TV arena. Don't go anywhere. This game will start very soon. Well, third time's in the charm for our live stream here in Portimão, the World Beach Ultimate Club Championships 2024. And at long last, getting this Salaspils Cassalletes game to your viewing delight and pleasure. Myself, Hannah Pendlebury, alongside Jamie Rabbits on the call this fine afternoon after our weather delay for thunder and lightning. Jamie, what's happened so far?
Yep, we've finally managed to start the game, and so far Cassalletes have put in the downwind hold, and they have regained the disc now for this upwind possession. See if they can march it all the way back up the field.
Well, that one is going to take a second effort, nearly snatched by the intended target, Fuentes, but it's going to be Salaspils with a short field, and that looked like it could be very easy, but a sand strip.
Yeah, that one goes to ground in the end zone. Good passage of play, good movement from Salaspils, but couldn't complete the final pass.
Well, it's certainly been a difficult journey to this game, of course. I do believe the positions in the pool are already determined, but that's us picking it up. And a big backhand break again, overshooting a little bit when they're trying to break the force for this Salaspils side in the early stages of the game.
Yeah, definitely not afraid to take these shots towards the end zone, but we have seen earlier in the day these around backhand breaks in the downwind direction have been very hard to connect with because that disc comes out so quickly. The receivers struggle to make up that ground, but it does leave Cassalletes stuck in this corner once again.
Well, we know with the wind it's going to be an absolute grinder as that one is snatched out of the hands of Jenny Lee by the wind.
And the short field now, once again for Salaspils, front and center of the end zone, will be looking to just flip a short pass in for their hold here.
Indeed, tight matchups against the handlers is going to be key to stop them sneaking through for an easy leading pass. But starting us off is Yeva Grabet with the disc. She does take the reset, but there's a foul call much earlier in the movement.
Yeah, just muscling through a bit strongly there, I think, on that cut towards the thrower. Definitely contact and discussed there. Unsure whether contested or accepted is that foul, but the disc will remain with Salaspils in the front and center of the end zone.
Based on the chatting between the players, I imagine... Oh, no, hold on. Was that a signal for a zero? Well, that would be...
Straight in with the violation as well.
Yeah, very strange. Because, of course, an off-disc offensive foul, well, that doesn't even matter. That's a really nice little bit of just give and go.
Oh, I think another foul called.
Oh, goodness, right, okay. Everyone else, myself, was also convinced that one was clean enough, but...
Yeah, a bit too much contact, I think. Won't be surprised if the teams have a bit of a conversation about the level of contact that they're happy with. Looking very physical in those small spaces in the front of the end zone, just trying to get this last meter Salaspils. But yeah, good discussion going on here. Hopefully the teams will figure out the level that they're comfortable with and we'll be able to find ourselves a cleaner game.
Well, Salaspils are very used to playing in small windows. Of course, the Latvian-Lithuanian combo team that we've got with a bit of Belgians for your extra pleasure. But they play a lot of indoors, which of course has a very similar pitch size to beach. But the footing is the difference maker. Of course, it's very easy for offense on sand to get away, but perhaps those smaller spaces just not having quite the same cleanliness of footwork because the trainers have been left at home and it's barefoot action on the sand.
Yeah, and we do see teams out of Latvia and Lithuania having a lot of success in the indoor scene, but now time to test themselves on the beach here as Salaspils do finally get the reset off, moving backwards.
Well, many of these athletes for the Salaspils side do represent Latvia on the national team side. They were representing back in 2019 with a very strong women's team that didn't make it all the way to the finals, but gave some good teams some great games. But that one is a huge layout grab, and at long last we do indeed get it confirmed for the Salaspils goal.
Yeah, Ashta there with the assist and Savayeva with the goal. Nice scoop up from the ground. Required quite often in these conditions to get low to the ground and save these discs. As we see coach Yanis Bernans there getting involved, giving his team the next set play on this defense, and this really is going to have to be the difference maker this game. A team is going to need to score an upwind break to take this one home, and we'll see what plan Salaspils decide to go with for this point.
Well, an interesting one because, of course, in a windy game and on beach you do tend to have a little more of them than you do on grass. Do you choose the defense or do you choose the wind? Sorry, offense or the wind even. Because, of course, if you end up on the downwind, you kind of would expect it to be an offensive hold, as Cassalletes took a little while to do in the opening point, but this one hopefully much cleaner as Broccoli puts that inside one through. Nice grab on the stumble. Jazaba pops that one back, but the new player to this roster, of course, Cheese as she's known, Jazaba Uzoka, has been playing with Cassalletes for quite some time, but not always appearing on the European roster.
Yeah, took a couple of years out, but back now with the Cassalletes side. Unable to connect on that one, but they do have the disc back now, and Broccoli to pick up. Salaspils maybe need to treasure that disc a bit more. Did make good movement, but just such tough conditions for these throws.
Yeah, Samantha Syke to give her the proper name, but Broccoli throws it, and it tips off the fingers of Olivares. And Salaspils the opportunity to cause a spill here. Because, of course, you have to take your chances. That one just hangs up on the breeze too much, but a call much earlier may bring this one back.
Yeah, I think a pick in the downfield space wouldn't have affected the outcome of those plays, I don't think. I imagine that's what the players are discussing right now. But the disc will go back and players will reset into position before that confusion happened.
So whether a pick or a foul, it was retracted. Everyone now just rearranging themselves, trying to discuss what stall the disc could come in on. I think for me, Cassalletes' offense is pretty swift, so they are going to say it didn't impact and the play should stand. We've got a lovely isolation set up.
Yeah, Cassalletes will definitely want to put this one in quickly, but Salaspils will know exactly what they want here. We'll see if the lone defender is able to peel off and shut this one down.
Well, you would imagine that's probably the sideline that Elizabeth Iglota is being tasked with, because of course the player with the disc can't score the goal, can't throw to yourself.
No, big task for Iglota here. Not in the ideal position to stop this, but you never know. In these conditions, you can just force the thrower to take the second option, and actually the disc does end up going back. Teams deciding that that is the right outcome of this retracted pick call.
Well, back in play with an action replay of exactly the same throw before to Costa Roca, sorry. And now Olivares puts it through the loop. And that will indeed be a hold for Cassalletes, a nice goal. So at the moment, this is Pool C action. Cassalletes in the second seed spot took the initial third seed into the tournament, of course, having had previous successes, as already mentioned. Salaspils starting in 8th seed, but in Pool C, it's been all about some of the more lower seeded teams coming into the tournament having a great start to their campaign, most notably Troubles, who have played 4 with 3 wins and 1 loss to their name, starting at 18th seed, and fabulous as well. The Swiss, of course, known for having good throws in the wind, despite Switzerland not having a reputation for being that blustery.
Yeah, you definitely see some creative throws coming out of the Swiss is usually the common theme, but they make them work in whatever the conditions. So exciting ultimate coming out of them. But I think both of these teams here will be looking to have a deep run at this tournament. So a really good chance for us to have an early look early in the week at what these two teams are able to do. And I would not be surprised to see this matchup again later on, deeper in the brackets.
Oh, that one just pings off Kondalita, one of the Lithuanians playing for this Latvian club. I'm trying to think if we've mentioned on the various starts to our commentary the Latvian Beach Championship that was just played, which apparently makes this wind that Cassalletes are now throwing against seem barely but a whisper.
Yeah, as we said, we spoke to Coach Bernans of Salaspils, and the Baltic Beach Championships, he said weather like this is no wind compared to what they had there. So these Salaspils players do have experience in those windy conditions. Cassalletes now managing to get a little bit of momentum up the pitch.
Well, that's a lovely bit of defense, though. Denial for Iverklabe. And what a picturesque forehand that was. Perfect high release execution. Evija Arte with another beaut.
Yeah, very nice there. Arte has figured out this wind situation and making the very nice lead pass into that far side of the field with the forehand. Salaspils did really well there to just capitalize on getting that turnover, moving that disc quickly. I think that's going to be something that's really valuable for these teams, especially if they can manage to do it in the other direction. Won't be surprised to see one of these teams, if they do manage to get that turn on this upwind defense, trying to pick up quickly and get something going deep. I saw both teams before the lightning delay were warming up those deeper shots in the upwind direction. That's something that they'll both be looking to do, and I can't blame them. It's the best way to get that forwards progress in the upwind if you have those throws, and both of these teams definitely do.
So Broccoli, nice high release backhand to the soft side. Of course, this Valencia team with a couple of Murcia athletes alongside, really just used to the surface, but that one not able to be reeled in by Fernandez del Castillo Roca.
Salaspils walk up slowly, set up their vertical stack.
Well, it's a nice boost, but too much hang time. Broccoli snaffles it up. So Salaspils favouring this backhand force, but who let that one get away? Fantastic work. Shizaba Uzoka making it look very easy to bring in that point, even though plentiful turns.
Yeah, definitely not the cleanest, but honestly, in these conditions, I think that was the right option for Salaspils. Try and take on that upwind longer pass, as we said. That one getting a bit caught up, I think a bit forced by the defense to not quite be able to take the optimal throwing technique. But yeah, in the end, Cassalletes able to find the gaps and have nice flow down the near side of the field and put that one away.
Well, this is promising. The wind has abated enough that we're able to bring you every single one of our angles here to our pitches. Of course, those drone shots are really useful because Cassalletes have informed us that they've got a couple of zones up their sleeves, which they might need, but at the moment, both teams largely sticking to match defense. Oh, I say that. Here comes a zone. A 2-1-2, and that's going to be all the way out of bounds. So a turnover generated by playing zone instead of match.
Yeah, as you say, we spoke to the leadership of Cassalletes. They told us about their potential zone look. They said in other conditions, they might be worried about the Salaspils discs over the top, around the side, but they think the weather is very much on their side when trying to set up these zone defenses. And a prime example right there of Salaspils being confident to take those options, but on this occasion not able to connect.
Well, Cassalletes now with the difficult job of throwing directly into the breeze. Of course, it's all about that low release. What a beautiful lead pass through. Now, can we do anything with it? Nice support for Betancourt, but that one just a bit too much. And it's going to be an unleashing of the court for Salaspils, but there's no bid on the end of it. And that one will sail clear.
Yeah, I think the right idea there from Salaspils. Again, they did say that they're not afraid to play Huck and D to really pin Cassalletes in their own end zone in this upwind direction. So that one, looking for the quick start again, taking the wide open receiver, but just not quite able to account for the tailwind and be able to take that one down. But Cassalletes again with the mammoth task of working it all the way upwind in these conditions, and you can see the Salaspils defenders sat underneath.
Well, Cassalletes happy to grind it through the unders. Little dish there, no mark for a couple of moments, but Broccoli unable to take advantage of it. And that one just a reach, and the disc almost contacting with the face, but that is a beauty of a high release backhand. Jeva Grabe with the execution to perfection.
Yeah, Salaspils do seem to have these.
Well, take a brief break, grab yourself a drink and be right back as this game continues. Well, the disc going well out of bounds and then back in. Thank you for bearing with us, folks. The technical issues, of course. When you're on sand and it rains and thunders and lightnings and just blows everything away, it can become a little bit tricky to keep electrical equipment running, rocking and rolling. So Cassalletes with a break opportunity here. Salaspils continuing to put up the deep options, but not always working out. But they're going to get a short field opportunity here. Or pitch, I should say. It's not really grassy.
Hand block there from Arsta to give Salaspils that short field. And this time, no messing around. Put that one away.
Very strange game. Very strange indeed. Well, I certainly am glad we're in a tent rather than having to be out on the sands running around.
Well, speak for yourself, Hannah. I've had to be running around in this earlier today.
I know, but right now, Jamie. How has it been actually playing in this tournament so far?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, the conditions yesterday were much nicer than this, as you may have seen as a spectator. But yeah, a much more wet game this morning. Playing in the open division, finished third in the pool out of 4, so not too bad, and on to those power pool games next.
Indeed. Well, let's talk pool positions at the moment. I think in terms of the standings in Pool C for the women's division, Salaspils seem unable to really do too much about their record with those losses earlier on. So they'll be going into Pool J. They do still have a route through to the top 16 bracket, though. It's just a slightly more difficult journey to that, as Cassalletes with the overthrow. That one off the back of Nat Lamotte.
Yeah, just the wind catching the bottom of that disc from that forehand and gliding past the receiver.
Inside channel being taken, nicely held by Kundalita, and that's a launch that's going to sail over Broccoli, but can she get there? Oh, big bosh! And the throwaway, unsurprisingly, afterwards, after taking heavy contact, but no call made.
Yeah, big contact there, but both players obviously happy to play through it.
But a drop from Castillo Roca.
Potentially the smallest field that Salaspils have had in this upwind direction so far, but not able to connect on that first pass.
Yeah, Kundalita known for making absolutely inhuman plays, throwing the body around on a hardcore indoor. Nice effort for the layout, but not to be. Little dish pass backwards, but a hand block from Kundalita by the looks of where that one ended up.
Yeah, gets that disc straight back in that number 22 versus number 22 matchup. And Salaspils have the disc once again on the sideline, and up it goes, looking for Kundalita.
Well, a good target to go for, but it's the battle between Broccoli and Petruskaite. As Broccoli uncorks it towards the end zone, and that one is again going to sail out of bounds. I think every athlete on the field that's trying to connect on these downwind hucks, Jamie, just needs to hold the disc for a second longer.
It's such a tough skill to learn in the first place, but then to remember to execute on every time, because you can be playing standard ultimate without the wind and you can do this over and over, but as soon as the wind gets involved, you have to think so much harder.
Well, Petruskaite being connected with on a slightly shorter pass this time, but she's going to have a high stall and hope, and that one just ends up tail ending. Orlovska, the captain, was talking about how the wind conditions at this championship just change every 10 minutes or so, it feels. So both teams just trying to make the right adjustments, and oh, at long last it works out. Broccoli with a high release, and it just narrowly escapes the grasp of the defender, but it hits the mark.
Yeah, nicely done there in the end from Broccoli, just to lift that one up over the Salaspils defender, just out of reach of the fingertips. And Alba there reeling that one in the end zone, and Cassalletes take the lead 5-4, just trading in this downwind direction so far.
Well, we have reached that timed half, so a trade-off. Salaspils opening up that backhand, because that is the strategy. That is the way a lot of these teams playing in this current round of wind conditions are going to be scoring their downwinds. High release is to just try and ride the rails. In fact, lately we've had quite a few tournaments impacted by breeze, and the Firetails of Australia got their way to a first podium finish. They took a bronze medal in Australia on grass, and that women's bronze medal match was all about high releases downwind.
Yeah, and I think it leads you to when you do turn over, it's in the other team's end zone, and you can't be unhappy with that result in conditions such as these.
Indeed, and there is going to be a foul called, immediately accepted. Both these teams seem to be finding the hand release points of each other quite well, though. There have been a number of hand blocks, but Machinita just accepting that immediately. On that one, a high stool that just about escapes the fingertips.
You can see just how underneath their players the Salaspils D-line are sitting, and somehow Cassalletes is still able to get free for those unders, but not quite able to complete the passes.
Well, they are putting a lot of pressure on them, and that certainly took its time to develop and emerge. An almost instantaneous catch, and we're going to get a little bit of discussion. We got slightly finnied on that angle just by virtue of the players on the pitch, but it is going to be an accepted foul. Oh, that is a very creative throw. Just narrowly misses being one of the scores of the game.
Yeah, I mean, way to find the receiver going in that direction and getting a hand on it, but I think the receiver potentially thinking they were closer to the sideline than they were, trying to get those feet down, and in the process of that, couldn't quite get hands around the disc.
Well, Betancourt walking it to the line. This is becoming another of these very long points, and just a swing and a miss, trying to go for that centering pass to Jenny Lee. Not the best day at the office for the number 15 for Cassalletes. At points it seemed like the wind is just deliberately taken out from her, but that is a scoop of a backhand toss. Great reception on the end of it as well.
Yeah, really nicely done. Just flipping that one over exactly as you said earlier, Hannah. Those high releases are going to be key in this downwind direction, but you can even see this throw as we get the replay. Released very high, but immediately pushed back down and has to be scooped up off of the ground. But nicely done in the end from Salaspils, and they continue this trading pattern to level the game up at 5 points each.
Well, all of the sand in all of the crevices now. I think that was Cristiana Bodore with the goal. Just flopping onto the deck to make sure.
Yeah, much better to be safe than sorry in these conditions, because the wind can do all sorts of things with these discs. So putting your body in the right place and then making the catch is the ideal outcome. And so now Salaspils will once more try for this upwind break.
I have to say, at some point in the game, we are going to have, I think, both teams trying to overload the lines and do some power lines to try and get that first upwind break, because at the moment there's been a lot of turnovers, a lot of really great action and some less great moments, but no one's gotten a break yet.
Yeah, I think we've seen quite a lot of Zyke on the field in both directions, just trying to anchor this offense for the Cassalletes. But yeah, won't be surprised to see Latvia and the Salaspils stacking their own lines a bit more and getting more desperate for the upwind break. And that is a good lead pass, reaching halfway, our Salaspils.
Arafieva with the toss, but there's a drop on the end of it. A missed opportunity there for Savieva.
Salaspils keep giving themselves these opportunities, but throwing them away cheaply so far.
Although they are going to get the disc back in an even more advantageous field position. They're pretty much the same distance, and they're going to take the shot. It's going to work for the first break of the game. Well, that is absolutely huge. Orlovska just sitting down to get that final catch.
Exactly what we said they needed to do. Take those deep passes. The first one gained them half the field. Yes, they did turn over, but they got that disc back. And again, a very nice upwind throw there. No hesitation, all the way to the end zone, and Salaspils take the first break and, importantly, the first upwind break of the game.
Well, all off the hand of Linda Gulbert. Of course, one of the veterans for Salaspils. We've seen them play in the women's division, but also talented mixed players as well. Got themselves a couple of European grass medals.
Yeah, lots of good performances out of Latvian teams over the last few years, whether they decide to play in any of the divisions really, and often seeing their players pop up for other teams when they're not able to field full teams of their own. A good ultimate scene coming out of Latvia, and Salaspils here proving that to us, making some nice movements up the field. But Cassalletes with disc in hand now.
Well, that's a fantastic grab from Betancourt behind the back. Makes it all the way through. Are we going to get that effect where one team goes, I can break up win, and the other team goes, yeah, all right, then so can we?
Yeah, Cassalletes with solid offense for potentially the first time this game in this upwind direction.
Well, Olivares playing that anchoring role. Going almost every other in the 91. Takes on the break challenge. Not quite over the line. But now it's Diaz.
Great patience from Cassalletes, and the timeout is called with probably 3 or 4 seconds on the stall. So we'll see what Cassalletes go for.
Yeah, I think that's a slightly controversial call of a timeout quite that far into the count, especially that close to the end zone. It's going to give Salaspils the opportunity to put on a defense that they like the look of. But find out what that will be in a few moments. Portimão hosting the World Beach Ultimate Club Championships, the first of its kind, and we have a women's division game that's been very interesting indeed. 6-5. Salaspils took the first break of the game in the previous point, and the timeout allowing just a set play up line. Super duper easy stuff, and we are back on serve.
Incredible stuff from the Cassalletes there. Have been struggling this game to get the disc flowing in that upwind direction, and that point was almost flawless. They had to call the timeout just to settle the nerves a bit, but execute the play out of the timeout to perfection, which we often see the opposite of that, but able to keep the disc and work it all the way down the field for the upwind hold, and a crucial one at this late stage of the game, which means that Salaspils will have to get themselves another upwind score to keep themselves in this game. They have the opportunity to do that from offense first, and once again, Coach Bernans on the field really organising what is going to happen for the Latvian side. Will Salaspils be able to hold upwind as Cassalletes have just been able to do?
Well, it feels like the vibe of the game has definitely changed, and Sara Rahali getting involved with our glam cam. Call me, baby. Hey, I just met you. Let's play some Frisbee.
And the zone again from Cassalletes. They finally get the downwind D point, and it's worked for them incredibly and given them a field about 3 meters from the end zone, right on the near side sideline.
Well, we've certainly seen Salaspils bring it back with hand blocks from this distance. It's going to be pretty feisty stuff, though, and that one sails, just misses the hands of Lee.
Looked like she might have been able to reel that one in, but just too far, and Salaspils getting away with that one. But Cassalletes setting this zone again, and will Salaspils try to take on something ambitious? Couple of players wide open, but in those difficult to hit positions.
Well, the first upwind break came from a moment where there wasn't too much of a mark. That one is going to have contact underneath it. I think there was probably not too much distance between where the disc landed and where that contact occurred to make it truly uncatchable.
Yeah, I think it's one of those that would have required quite the athletic effort to reel it in, and I think that Salaspils have accepted that one, and Cassalletes will have the disc in hand again in the center of the field, setting up their offense now. Taking the open pass towards the far sideline. Do have a player streaking deep, and the huck does go up.
It's Lee underneath it, and it's Lee for the layout goal!
Incredibly weighted throw there once more from Cassalletes. Both of these teams really have figured out this downwind pass at this point. The wind dying down just a little bit, but take nothing away from the skill that that throw takes and the grab to keep that one out of the sand and take the goal for Cassalletes.
Well, and the all-important getting those breaks in this swirly game. So that is us back officially on serve. One break apiece, so Cassalletes pushing themselves a nudge in front again. Of course, they do have the pedigree, and here in Portimão, they lost the final of the European Beach Championships on Universe a couple of years ago now.
Yeah, but a very strong side and proving it here. We knew that we'd be in for a good game with these two teams, and they have proven it to us, showing a lot of skills on both sides of the disc.
Us that thinks about it and then indeed does wind it up. I'm not sure if that's going to make it in bounds at any point. It does not. And so, despite playing Huck and D, that is going to be an enviably short field gifted to Cassalletes.
Yeah, they will be very glad for this one. It does mean that they are right on the sideline, which is a tough place to try and get out from. But so far, and especially in the second half of this game, Cassalletes' offense has been looking very smooth, and they will want to put this one in, because giving themselves that 2-point buffer at this point in the game will be very valuable to them.
Well, indeed, we've just got under 5 minutes remaining of regulation time. So, Danny Otavaro will bring it all the way back up. Inside break across, nice and smooth, Telemot. They give straight back. Oh, there's a huge layout effort, but cannot stop the flow. Martinez Matti, and there's going to be, of course, a pick call because Broccoli is suspiciously open on the upline cut. So Broccoli is the target eventually. Takes that offhand backhand and just puts out a lead pass. That's still left for Dust, trying to defend it, but again, it's Cassalletes and Otavaro this time with the through upline movement, but it seems like Salaspils are finding themselves a bit flat-footed when marking some of these players behind the disc, Jamie.
Yeah, a bit of a dagger in the heart there for Salaspils. Cassalletes capitalizing on the mistake of throwing that disc out of the sideline and it never coming back. Nicely done. As you say, the footwork from the Cassalletes side, just able to find themselves free in these small spaces in front of the disc and work that one the few short meters in for that goal. And Salaspils not able to find the answer. That is the 3rd point in the row for Cassalletes. Takes this game to 8-6.
Samantha's like they're giving the glam cam a little bit of love. Of course, has been a huge part of the Cassalletes offense. Those big hucks. And of course, plenty of turnovers as well, but you don't mind it when you're having heavy duty. But Salaspils, after a great Cassalletes pull now in their own home territory. Gulbert, oh, that's a beautiful high release. It's got a bit too much tilt on it, though, as it drags to the far sideline.
Yeah, Salaspils desperate not to turn over there. You could see them trying to figure out what angle are they going to be able to get a huck out of this situation. In the end, going with that high release, but into the wind, going to turn over, comes all the way over to the near side sideline.
Well, it's interesting because you had 2 players sort of cutting in towards the same space. I think that's maybe a little bit more spacing laterally downfield for Salaspils. Might have seen that one come off. Olivares with the reset. Well, that one pings so hot and heavy to Jenny Lee. She can't cling on to it.
Salaspils with 2 unmarked players in the deep space, but Cassalletes still able to sneak in between and get the block.
Yeah, a little bit of hesitation from Linda Gulbe on that one. It was a beautiful throw, though, and the defensive effort she makes grinds the disc almost straight back. Oh, a little bit too much, and that's a smackdown wrestling-style defense.
No messing around from Cassalletes and sending it all the way back the other way, and it is too much for the receiver, but it does mean Salaspils lose all of the progress they've made and will have to play offense once more from the front of their end zone.
Wow, feed the disc to Linda Gulbert. She's been having a fantastic game on the throws into the wind.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Salaspils just getting a bit unfortunate on a few of these possessions, able to work it a lot of the way up the field, but not capitalizing so far in this game.
Well, Yanis Bernans, the coach, was saying to us ahead of the game that this one doesn't really matter too much. We pretty much are set for our pool matchups for the next round of play here at the World Beach Ultimate Club Championships. That's a nice break. Oh, and a great layout from Gulbe.
And
so impactful, and a beautiful backhand release, arcing, sailing and sending. That is the hold much needed for Salaspils. Can they now have that buy one get one free effect on a downwind break?
Yeah, you see the Cassalletes zone there. So much front-loaded pressure, 4 players all around the disc. But once Salaspils are able to find that escape route around the side of the field, a very nice throw, the zone can't catch up, and that is a beautiful high release once more into the end zone.
And that's what I was asking for on the deep spacing of the Salaspils players. You don't have 2 on that. I mean, obviously, there is a slight diagonal tilt that you can see from our camera views towards this near sideline where we are sitting alongside you, dear viewers. But I think having both sides covered rather than just trying to be on that strong shoulder of the pitch as you attack the deep space, that's how that's so valuable, especially against the zone. So Cassalletes looking to charge forth. They have that narrow window of a lead. That one taken in almost directly to the face for Jizorbach. Nice through, threading the needle. This is beautiful flowing offense from Cassalletes.
Yeah, Otavaro really anchoring this one and takes the shot to the end zone. It's going to find its way all the way there, and Cassalletes with another upwind hold.
Well, after the first half had no one scoring in the right-hand end zone, Cassalletes, well, it looks like that is for the game. They finish us off here 9-7 over Salaspils and celebrate in style as well. That will be an overall record in pool play of 3 wins and 1 loss as they head their way into Pool I.
Yeah, Cassalletes really building the confidence into that game and able to take it down in the end with those couple of breaks. A really entertaining game though, and Salaspils, lots of things to take away. I imagine we won't have to play in conditions like this for the rest of the week, so it will change. Yeah, fingers crossed from Hannah there. Might change the game in different conditions, but yeah, both teams showing us some real talent and skill throughout.
Well, looking at the numbers, of course, it was going to be a turnover-heavy game. I think we might see, Jamie, the same level of wind later on in the championship at points, but hopefully just not having to be quite so soggy. But break chances were abundant for both sides across the course of the game because of all those turnovers. But it was Cassalletes who rose to the challenge after Salaspils got the early break.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that just those 2 clean holds for Cassalletes were really important for the team, especially that upwind one they got after getting broken and managed to get themselves the momentum back into the game.
Well, hats off to Cassalletes. We have indeed covered them on the sounds in Portimão to great success. And if they can build on this performance, perhaps they might find themselves in a Portuguese final at the world stage rather than just the European one. Certainly coming out with lots of form, and big shout out to all of the crew back in Valencia and Murcia. So it's a Costa Blanca affair, those 2 locations coming together. Lots of great connections. But we're going to head down to the sidelines for a live interview with Samantha Syke.
I'm with Broccoli after the victory. Good game. It came in after a rain delay. How did you get the team ready for this one? What was preparation like with a bit of shortened time and some crazy weather?
Well, we didn't. So we came out, warmed up, did our regular thing, and then we were about to cheer for the game, and we got sent off the beach. So we were like stopped for a while, and we found out that we had to play like 15 minutes before we had to play, and most of the team, 10 members, had gone to the hotel. And so they literally came sprinting from the hotel, and that was the warm-up.
Okay.
So we entered like very frazzled.
Okay, hotel sprint for warm-up. Great fight, very close throughout. You guys pulled away at the end. Talk about what it took to get over top of Salaspils in a tight game like this.
Yeah, it really started upwind, downwind, and they sort of broke the seal with their upwind. And I think, like, sometimes it's so mental, right? And like seeing them do it, it was like, wow, okay, so we can do that too. Like they connected on a long throw, like we can do that as well. And I think it just came down to like believing that we could connect and could like get that upwind point. And from there, we were just empowered, just fired up.
Excellent stuff. Feeling empowered. They're moving on, and thank you. Congratulations. Good luck throughout the rest of the tournament.
Thank you. Hi, Mommy.
Always got to get in those hellos, haven't you, at the last moment. Well, that will wrap us up here for our women's division game, but we are going to roll straight into the next round. It's Quayota shirts I see in front of me, so guaranteed to be a good game. But final thoughts for the match, Jamie?
Yeah, a game of the wind, but Cassalletes is able to keep that offense flowing and make it work for them.
Indeed.
Thank you so much for joining us. I've been Jamie Roberts.
I've been Hannah Pendlebury, and indeed it was Cassalletes learning from the strength of Salaspils, both cruising through as we continue our World Beach Ultimate Club Championships. We'll see you for the next round.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, Ultimate.
ULTI.TV.